I had the thought the other day, maybe yesterday, day before, about the importance as a seller, especially as a newer seller, and I consider myself pretty new, to not compare yourself to other FBA sellers, even if those other FBA sellers are relatively new like yourself, or if they've been around a long time. I come across people in FBA bookseller group on Facebook, and I find myself frequently comparing myself or my situation to their situation. So I might see someone who is, I've seen someone who's sourcing 500 books a week, but this person is clearly, for all appearances, does not have any kids, is single, and has a lot of time to do this. That has a full-time job, but nonetheless. And also I found out that they have help from family members, which I have none of that. So I'm doing it basically all by myself. I see someone who's doing 500 a week, 500 books a week, and I think, geez, if I had the time, I could do that. I could source 100 books in a day if I had the time. But I don't have 6, 7, 8 hours to do that on any given day, especially not several days out of the week. So I find myself thinking, oh geez, if I only had more time, if I'd only found this business years ago, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's just not going to help you at all, not going to help me. And it's hard not to compare yourself to someone else, especially if they're doing what you want to be doing right now, but you just can't do it because of time constraints, because of money constraints, or because of location constraints. Variety of reasons. So try and avoid that at all costs. If you can only source 100 books a week, or 50 books a week, or 30 books a week, then just keep plugging away. I that's what I've done. Last year, 2015, I just kept plugging away, doing as much as I could, sending out shipments every 2 weeks. That was my big, consistent goal. Sending out shipments every 2 weeks, no matter what, no matter how small or big the shipment was. And I'm doing that right now. I'm up to 93 items, and I have probably, I don't know, I'm guessing another 30 or so, 30 plus, 30 to 40 to list. I'm trying to list all of those today. Worst case scenario, I'll be done listing them by tomorrow so I can get another shipment out, hopefully by Wednesday at the latest. It depends on your situation. I can't currently do source 500 books a week. If I could do that, I'd be sending in 2,000 books a month, and I'd hit my 10,000 maximum storage limit pretty quickly, in about maybe 6 months or so, and which would be awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I just can't, I don't have the time to do that, unfortunately. Try to avoid that at all costs, because you just drive yourself crazy, and you'll think that what you're doing is not good, or is not good enough. But it just, might be the best that you can do right now. Circumstances change. Maybe you get more time in the future. I know I'll get more time probably next year. This year, not so much, maybe about the same amount as last year, although this year I'm going to be focused on sourcing a lot more frequently than I did last year, knowing, what I can do in terms of sales based on how many books I can get into inventory. Do what you do with the best you can do with the circumstances you currently have. Like I talked about yesterday, if you have time constraints like myself, then work within those time constraints and try to get a little bit of sourcing in. If you only have a couple hours a week to source, then when you're out there sourcing, really focus and make sure you get a certain amount of books. You say, oh, I want to get 50 books. I want to get 40 books a week. Well, it's going to add up. If you do 50 books a week, that's 200 books a month. That's not bad. In 10 months, you've sent in 2,000 books. You've sent in 2,400 books in a year, in 12 months. And it might seem like a long time, but having sent in 2,000, 2,400 books, you will be selling pretty consistently. Once you get up to that point, you're going to be seeing some serious sales coming in, especially in those peak months. Do what you can within your own reality. Don't try to be like someone else unless you have the money, have the time, or in the location to do what they're doing. Then by all means, go for it. Otherwise, you're just going to drive yourself crazy. I try not to do that, but sometimes I see people doing big numbers, and I think, gosh, if only. And then I stop myself and say, you know what? I'm doing well. I'm plugging away. and I'm going to hit my goals no matter what. I also wanted to mention how building up your sales in the non-peak months of the year is so important, and that's why it's so important to keep sending shipments in. February is not back to school; it's a month after. But February has been really great for me so far. Up to the 14th of this month, which was yesterday, I've done around 50 sales. So I should hit, if it keeps on going as it is. I should hit around 100 sales, hopefully more. And this is an off month or off peak month. I'll get this shipment out. If I hustle, I'll maybe get another one out, hopefully by the very end of February. If not the very beginning of March. To me, that's more important than the peak months. The peak months are going to happen, and they're going to be crazy and amazing for everybody, even if you have only 1,000 books in or 500 books in. Versus 5,000 or 3,000 or 2,000. Those months are going to be great. It's the months in between that we all have to work on to make steady, so that if you really want this to become a part-time or full-time income, you got to be able to get through those leaner months or non-peak months. Where you can still have a great income. That's in some ways more important to me than the peak months. The peak months are going to happen, and they're going to be amazing. The 3 big months, January, August, and December, are all going to be through the roof. Those 3 months combined are going to be huge sales. But what about the other 9 months? You got to have some good sales in those months as well. There's going to be down months. October was the slowest month for me, but February of last year I did 23 sales, and I've already hit about 50 in the first 14 days. He's excited. I didn't have nearly as many books last February as I have this February, a year later. So clearly that makes a big difference. And also, the quality of books and have a better idea of what to send in, stuff that'll sell for good money, but also possibly sell quicker as well. Yeah, that's what got me excited. So February, March, April, May, June, July, a lot of months ahead of us where we can build up those steady sales in anticipation of August, which will just be huge for all of us. August is going to be big, guys. So I'm telling you, the next 6 months, just source as much as you can. You want to have as many books in inventory by August. By about mid-August, it's just going to go through the roof. I want to be doing 20 to 30 sales a day. That's going to be my goal in August. So I'm building it up. So by the time I get to July, hopefully I want to be I'd love to be around 10 sales a day by July, consistent. As of now, if I hit 100, we're talking about 3 or 4 sales a day on average. I think by July I could hit 10 sales a day. I really do. And then by the end of the year, actually by next February, hopefully up to 20, 25 a day consistently. Let's work hard on it. And he's excited. I'm excited. Are you excited? Remember, keep booking. Listing is done. Let's ship these books out and all the other books I have in the office. Let's do it.